Good afternoon and welcome to Pifer's podcast on thevirginianreview.com, brought to you this year by Alcova Mortgage. Go up and see Jason if you're buying a house or refinancing at Alcova Mortgage. Today we're talking to the Allegheny football team, fresh off their 24-9 Brackman Cup win over the Covington Cougars. And with me is a pair of seniors, Dejor Davenport and Matt Patterson, and the head coach of the Mountaineers, Gary Burdett. I'm about to call you Dale.
That's happened.
Coach Burdett, first of all, let's talk briefly about the Covington game. Certainly one that everybody looks forward to in the community, big crowd. It was a hot, muggy night, and you guys come through 17-7 at halftime, hit a big play early, and win it 24-9. Certainly a big win for your football team.
Yeah, the first game you played, so the first game is very important, critical to get you started off on the right foot, and really impressed with our guys' effort and intensity that night. By no means was it a perfect football game for us, but the effort level was good, the intensity was good, and I think the guys got off on the right foot early by responding to some adversity in the game, and showed a little resilience there, and it's great to see that out of these guys' competitive nature.
A pair of the seniors in that football game, and first Dejor. That's a game where everybody kind of knows each other. Whether you're friends or you know the guys from just hanging out. But talk about the game and y'all's preparation going in. And I know as a player, it's probably a fun one to play in.
I mean, it's a lot of preparation going into the game. I mean, you gotta get yourself in the mindset and get ready for it. I mean, you got some friends out there that you know, like off the field, but once you get on the field, y'all not friends anymore.
Certainly, and Dejor has 6 tackles, 6 solo tackles, 2 assists, 2 sacks in the game. So a big part of that Allegheny defense holding Covington to 9 points. Dejor, talk about that linebacker position and maybe a little bit of what you guys were able to do to hold Covington's offense in check. They score early and they take that 7-3 lead, but from that point on, you guys were able to create a few turnovers and hold their offense in check.
I mean, you got to keep them from getting outside of you, and to help out the corners and safety, you just got to help the quarterback. I mean, just hit him. That's basically.
And then Matt Patterson here right beside me. Matt, another good game. 15 for 23, 193 yards, 2 touchdowns. And Matt, now a 3-year starter at quarterback. And, each year I can see you becoming more comfortable on the football field. And Coach Burdett talks about you becoming more comfortable. Talk about the difference maybe between this past Friday night and that first football game you played, I guess, against Covington on this field 2 years ago.
Well, it just seems like yesterday. You walk out in the field, you little sophomore, just terrified walking out there. But as the game goes on, you get more comfortable, and you fast forward till senior year, and coaches and players always talk about how experience will help the player become more comfortable, and I think that's all it comes down to is just the experience you have on the field is just you've been there before.
And you guys hit 3 big plays in the game. You and Chase hook up twice, Chase Woodard, and then the little double pass between Levi C. and Chase. Talk about the dynamic now that Chase has brought to the team. Hadn't played in a couple years, and his speed was certainly a huge factor in the win Friday.
Honestly, I'm so proud of him. He has put in the time and effort in the weight room over summer, coming to 7-on-7s, just building the chemistry that we have. And it also helps that, he's so fast, too. He just, you throw it out there to him and he gets it for me. I like it.
And Chase, I talked to him Friday night after the game, and he says, it can't happen without him running the route, you throwing it, and those guys up front giving you time. I see the NFL players, the quarterback's always buying the lineman a watch or a TV or something. Do you take care of your guys?
Oh, I make sure I give them a good pat on the back. If I could buy them all watches, I would for sure. But I mean, the best I can do is a pat on the back and tell them good job and keep doing it.
I think they'll go for that. Hey, Coach Burdett, this week it's another rivalry game. Maybe not. It doesn't get the banter maybe of the Allegheny Covington game, and another area game, another game where there's a lot of friends, a lot of families. When you go up to Bath County this week, look ahead to this Friday night and what you're expecting up there at Carl F. Williams Field.
Well, I think you get the typical Bath County teams, the kids that are tough, hard-nosed kids that always play you into the fourth quarter with the same kind of energy that they approached from the first snap of the game. They're always, football mindset up there. I think that's their bread and butter, and with the success they've had, why wouldn't it be? But we're expecting a tough, competitive game, and when you play a rivalry game, obviously anything can happen. We border Bath County, so it's a natural fit rivalry. We're, 30 so miles apart, so it's not far. But in order for us to go up there and play good, we have to execute at a high level and improve on the things that we weren't quite producing at a high level the other night.
And certainly, that's a team that has a new head coach, and when you have a new head coach, maybe the energy level goes up just a little bit, and then on top of that, they pick up a win on Friday, 15-13 over Eastern Montgomery. So those guys are coming in with a little bit of confidence too.
Absolutely, I think something new for them. They're with a new system, so sometimes when things haven't been going well, a change can help. But in regards to that, I'm sure just coaching football X's and O's is the most important thing for those guys. So I'm sure they're getting coached up by Coach Grubbs to a great level, and they're going out there with a game plan that is successful for their guys to execute.
Guys, let's talk about the maturity of this team and where you guys have come from. Dejor, first of all, when did you start playing down here? And then have you always been in the same position? And talk about football in general. I know that you look forward to Friday nights, but it's a 12-month thing. It's not just Friday night when people come to see. It's a lot of hard work that goes into it.
Well, I started playing up here my freshman year, and I started off JV. I started off at a middle linebacker, and then by my sophomore year, I decided that outside linebacker was just better for me. And ever since then, I've just been playing there and just making tackles.
Matt, same thing to you. The process of building up the 7-on-7s, the weight rooms, the morning work. A lot of people don't realize the work that goes into a sport at a high school level, and you play multiple sports, so it's difficult maybe to divide your time. But just talk about the work you guys put in on the football field that people don't see.
It all comes down to want, really. Who's going to be the person who wants it the most, and the guys who want it the most are the guys who will be at the weight rooms over summer, and they'll be at the 7-on-7s, and usually they're the same guys coming around, and it's pretty clear the guys who want it the most, and it's those guys who will be making plays on Friday nights.
Coach Burdett, as a coach myself, I know that you try to build assistant coaches around you that you can lean on for different things, and you have a great assistant coaching staff. You added a guy that knows all about Bath County football. Coach Fields spent a lot of years up there. He won a lot of football games up there. Talk about having a guy with that much head coaching experience, and now he's stepping back into an assistant role. But talk about maybe some of the things that he can add to the staff, being a head coach before.
Well, as you said, he's a veteran coach, so he's got experience. And, I think the biggest thing he adds is some perspective on schemes and techniques. He's very well-versed in a veer offense that we'll see, as far as reads and keys. And it really helps our defense when we're picking up keys for our defensive scheme of that week for our opponent. He's also been a very good team player. He's willing to step in, coach any position. And when you've been around and coached, the number of years he has, it's invaluable the amount of football snaps that he's been around. So game experience, preparation experience, he brings a lot of those things to the table that helps make us a better staff and helps me as well as being a better head coach.
We talked about rivalries earlier, and it seems like a lot of years. It was a lot of years ago. You were involved in probably one of the few around here now that say you were involved in the last Little Brown Jug game, and a lot of people don't even, a lot of the younger people don't understand even what the Little Brown Jug game was. That was a tradition for years and years and years between Covington and Clifton Ford. You were in the last game, played up at Casey Field. You guys, the Mountaineers, won it. We talked 12-0, we think, back in 1982. Give me some memories from that rivalry, and maybe how rivalries have changed with social media now. So many people know each other. Back in that day, you probably knew the people from Covington, but you might not have been like best buddies with a lot of them.
No, you weren't buddies with any of them. I mean, kind of, and it's, a kinder and gentler world in a lot of aspects that we live in today, that you can reach out on Facebook or Snapchat or whatever you choose to use media-wise. But, those were your rivals. You didn't like them. You didn't do anything dirty or underhanded, but you certainly wasn't going out there and try to be their best friend. And that's just how rivalries kind of were back in those days. And you were brought up, from Little League all the way through. Hey, you got to beat Covington, you got to beat Allegheny. And what's your mission, when you took the field against those guys?
We talked a little bit last month when I talked to you after the first practice of the year. This is kind of a unique year here at Allegheny High School. Ever since Allegheny High School was formed between Clifton Forge and Allegheny County, they've been a Blue Ridge District team. And this looks like the last year of Allegheny in the Blue Ridge District. They'll be joining the Three Rivers. A lot of new rivalries and a lot of new teams on the schedule. Just talk about maybe your feelings going into this year. We talked about it. You really don't think about it. It might not reflect until after it's over, but it's going to be different. Not playing the North Sides, the Botetots, and adding Glenver and adding Radford and adding Floyd. Just some new teams on the schedule.
Yeah, you lose some of those traditional rivalry games out of the Roanoke area that we've been playing for a number of years here at Allegheny. Economics, has really impacted as much as anything with fewer and fewer people able to stay in this area and work. Our enrollment goes down, and the big thing the Three Rivers will do for us is it'll put us against schools more similar our size. We're under 800, and 2 more year cycle we should be in the 600 some number is what they're projecting. So we'll be in there at the same size schools as Giles and Floyd and Glenver and all those, and I think it'll be good for us to start something new, but, our plan right now is to finish this thing off. Let them remember what Allegheny is about while we're in the Blue Ridge. So we'll take that 1 week at a time. We're worried about Bath County right now. But when it comes to that point, we definitely want to leave an impact on how we finish up in this league.
All right, we're going to close, and we're going to play a little question-answer. First of all, Dejour, it's you. All right, you got to pick one or the other. Virginia Tech or Virginia?
Virginia Tech.
That's a good man. All right, here's the Redskins or Cowboys?
Neither. Eagles.
Neither. Who?
Eagles.
Eagles. Okay. Virginia Tech, Virginia.
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 I'm a West Virginia fan, so I don't like Tech.
So if I say Virginia Tech or West Virginia?
West Virginia.
Okay. Cowboys, Redskins. None of the above.
I'll go Redskins. It's closer. It's
Okay.
close team.
Okay. Who's the NFL team? And Coach Burdett, I know these answers, but I'm going to ask you anyway. I'll give you your fair shake.
Sure.
Virginia or Virginia Tech?
UVA in every sport.
All right. Redskins, Cowboys, or Vikings?
Well, it's got to go to Big V, purple, gold,
Hey,
Adrian Peterson.
How about that new field?
Pretty awesome. We're trying to get one here like that.
Yeah, okay. Hey, we'd like to thank everybody. We'd like to thank Dejour and Matt and Coach Burdett for taking their time out. Look for this on YouTube. Look for it on thevirginianreview.com. Look for it on the Virginia Review Facebook page. And we tell me what you like about it and what you don't like about it. We'll try to go to a different school every week. Thanks to Jason Helmuthaler at Alcova Mortgage for all his support of athletics in our area. Until next week, I'm Mark Pifer. Have a great week at virginianreview.com.